graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
Promise you'll never forget about me.
Yes. Of course.
Promise me you'll take care of our little girl. Love her.
Yes. With all my heart.
Promise me you'll stay strong for her.
Yes. Yes. I promise.
And promise me you'll never sleep with another woman.
I hear you.
At home.
Your podcast will fail.
It's just a coincidence that you were talking about the Jack and Triumph show and I'm here. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Hey man, this is Kevin Schmidt, guy who makes all those unlistenable podcasts over at smodcast.com, and you're listening to the Two Strangers One Podcast. This is podcasting.
You're listening to Two Strangers One Podcast. Subscribe to us on iTunes or on the Stitcher app for Android devices. Please visit twostrangersonepodcast.net. Now, here's Chris Cologne and Paul Pasquillo.
Well, hello and welcome to Two Strangers One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Paul.
And I just took a cold-ass fucking bath. You want to know why, Paul? And this is something we were talking about before the episode, but for our audience... and I don't know if I brought this up on past episodes, but my landlord recently, he did some renovations to my apartment. And it's sort of a, I think he was trying to sell it, because he had someone in here, he was walking somebody through all the apartments where I live, and my landlord said is a guy from the city. It's a city inspector. I think it's full of shit. I think it's a guy that's like looking, to buy, another slumlord to fucking buy the apartment, to buy the whole where I live. And, so magically, the guy does like a first inspection and there's things that need to be fixed and stuff like that. So like magically, like a couple of weeks before the guy came and did a second inspection, they fixed all the shit in my apartment that like needed to get fixed. And certain things were important and stuff like that. But like one thing that, of course, yeah, was nice that it was done, but I don't think was absolutely necessary is they redid the floor of my bathroom. Now, when they redid the floor to my bathroom, and and I know this is kind of embarrassing, where I live, I just have a tub. I don't have a shower. I take baths. They fucked up my tub where if the water gets past a certain point, like it'll drain out on the floor. So because you usually have that little stopper. You have that to stop, like that thing, the overflow thing that like if the water gets to it, it keeps like the water doesn't go into that now. And like if the water gets like almost past the faucets and and I'm a big dude, I displace water.
Yes, you do.
I fill out a tub and as soon as I sit in the tub, the water rises. If the water gets higher than a certain point, it spills on the floor. One, totally damaging the brand new tiles that the landlord just put in there. And then two, if the water is really bad, now luckily it hasn't happened yet. Well, I was told that the water did leak down to my neighbor's apartment downstairs. Now since they did the renovations and all that stuff, those neighbors have left and all this other bullshit. But I try my best not to have the tub overflow and spill out onto the floor. And and I'm a big dude. I need water to fucking wash myself. And I keep calling my landlord every week. Could you fix the tub, fix the tub, fix the tub? And he sent his guys but his guys are like his guys. Like, he's not sending plumbers or anything like that. He's sending his fucking, and it's a wonderful collection of guys that are very likely ex-cons and stuff like that. And, they slapped a couple Band-Aids on it. No one ever fixed the problem. And then, coincidentally, and it's so funny how all this shit starts happening. Coincidentally, my rent was supposed to be raised last month. Right before, coronavirus, and, nowadays people are, tenants are going on rent strike, and there are people who just flat out aren't paying their rent because they can't afford to, and stuff like that. So what I did was, last month, or should I say for this month, when I sent my rent, I sent my old rate before the new rate. Why the fuck should I pay full rent if my landlord, after 6 weeks of me asking him to fucking fix it, fuck him. I'm just gonna pay my old rate. So, and then on top of the other things they're fixing, now magically we have an exterminator that comes frequently and kind of take care of shit around the house or whatever. And, coincidentally, when the guy comes up to put up signs saying that the exterminator's coming, my fucking hot water turns off. In the same month, like, right, the month that I'm not paying my full rent. And, there is a term for that, and it's called constructive eviction. And it is very illegal. And it's when a landlord does something where they try to make the house as uninhabitable as possible, trying to get a tenant out. You know what I'm saying? Because legally, if you have the right to stay in a place, there's people who, tenants will stay another 6 months without paying the rent before, the landlord could finally kick them out legally and stuff like that. So the landlord will do things like turn off the fucking hot water and all this other shit. And so, it's either an incredible coincidence that my hot water was turned off the day one of his guys came to put up signs saying, that the exterminator's coming. And, and now mind you, this happened, I noticed it last night. I gave it a day. And so, and like right before we started recording, like, it's fucking hot, where spring is, summer's almost here. We're literally like at Memorial Day weekend, by the time this episode comes out. Summer's about to start and it's hot, and I go to take a fucking bath and there's no fucking hot water. So I had to like slowly take a bath. So, if life isn't fucking hard enough as it is, at least like it's not the winter time. Cause at least, when it's 70 degrees outside, I could take a cold bath and kind of try to get my shit in order. But, this shit will not stand. And I hope my landlord doesn't play some bullshit, cause, we're about to hit a 3-day weekend and everything like that. I don't know, I have things in mind that I know that I want to do, and I probably shouldn't say them on the podcast because I don't want to get myself in trouble. But, this is not going to be pretty. If it happened on purpose and it just wasn't an incredible coincidence that my hot water turned off, then maybe it's just a coincidence, but I have a feeling that there's something afoul. Hey guys, future Chris checking in here before the episode gets released and after we recorded it. My landlord did send a guy. It was the guy who came with the exterminator the next day and got my hot water back up and running. So whether it was turned off or not on purpose is still a mystery. But I'm all good now before you start sending messages of concern. Thank you very much, and now back to the show. Before the show, you said there was something you wanted to get into. We haven't discussed it at all, so it is just as new to me as it is to the audience.
Yes. So, I find it funny that sometimes people follow Facebooks and they just don't realize it, and then you see that things that are being posted on their Facebook page. And, we had this discussion about the fact that, Chris is now single, and the last girl that he dated, I was like, maybe it's just the coronavirus. She's just having whatever. Mm-hmm. So, don't you know it? I'm sitting here and she's like, "Oh, I just got my baby a mask or whatever," and I'm just like, "Are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, you're already dating somebody new?"
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you knew that.
No, because I don't. I stopped unfollowing her on Facebook.
Yeah, so this bitch who I was sitting there like saying, well, maybe it's just whatever, fucking is dating somebody new in the middle of a fucking pandemic. Are you fucking kidding me right now?
Oh, okay. This is news to me. This is as news to me as much as it is to the audience.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get, like, I don't know if you knew like anybody else she dated, dude, but like some bald dude, like skinnier. Do you know who that is at all?
Not a clue.
I mean, I unfollowed her after that because I was just like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like, dude. This is what I'm fucking telling you about, like, mental issues, like fucking mental issues. Like, you know, I'm just sitting here going like, how do you date somebody in the middle of a pandemic?
Yeah.
Like, I don't get that, and I hope this didn't bring you down on the podcast at all.
No, no, that's because I'm trying to think. Like, we broke up March 31st, and I mean, within a month, even within a month of us dating, she was like, she was making plans for us to like move in together, and because her living situation is totally fucked. You know what I'm saying? So, we were, so I she was already like, looking for someone to kind of like rescue her, to be her fucking white knight and shit like that. So, I mean, yeah, it doesn't, like, I'll just say it, fuck that bitch. Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't fucking get how you go from, saying the things that she said to you to just being like out of the blue, oh, I don't want to be with you anymore, or just what you told me and what you said on the podcast made it seem like she was doing it for a reason, and maybe this was the reason to get with this guy. I don't know, but like, it just go ahead. Well, no, because I mean, and I didn't want to talk shit about her, but it's sort of like, there were red flags there from the very beginning. Like, yeah, okay, so like when you do your dating profile or whatever, okay, fine, you don't necessarily have to use your real name, and I get that, because there's girls out there who have stalkers, and they have a guy that's going to be like a psycho or some shit like that. Okay, fine, you don't use your real name, and and I don't want to get into this, but I guess let's just talk some shit. The name that I had known her through our whole relationship. I mean, if you want to call it a relationship, whatever it was a fling that lasted for a little while. That wasn't even her real name.
Really?
Her name is something else. And, then the funny thing is, then even the people in her own house, when I would go and visit her house, they had another name for her. And, she has a lot of online friends and stuff like that.
Chris, why didn't you tell me these things?
Well, I mean, one, it's fucking embarrassing, because, okay, so here's the deal. So, her and I got pulled over or whatever, and then the cop was being a real dick. Like, I got pulled over because my light was out or whatever, and the cop was being a real dick, and the cop asked her what her name was, and so she said, and the cop, and this is weird. This is fucking. The cop asked to see her ID when we got pulled over. So he goes, "Oh, what's your name?" And so she said her real name, and mind you, before that happened, I didn't know. I don't fucking know. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, she's had Facebook accounts under different names. The name that her and I were together with, it wasn't her name. So that's like a giant fucking red flag. There's certainly a bipolar thing going on there where, you go by different names.
Like, dude, if you would have told me that, I would have been like, you need to not, like, invest yourself in this girl. Just do what you need to do, and then if it does become a thing, great. If it doesn't, then get the fuck out, because, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? Look, we were together for a month or whatever. I mean, I don't have any, well, I mean, of course I have animosity, but my thing was like, I did everything right. I don't think I did anything wrong. If she I guarantee you that if she wanted to make a recording and say anything I did fucking wrong, feel free to fucking record it and send it to me, and I give you my word, I'll put it on the fucking podcast.
But, dude, I would say to you, like, based on what you told me, and again, it's just based on what you told me, it doesn't sound like you did anything.
Yeah.
Like, the relationship I'm in right now, I can tell you right now, I mean, besides me being a guy and not, us being guys and not picking up on certain things because we're idiots, but that's normal, at least in my view. That's just how it is, Those are the only thing that I probably do wrong in my relationship, honestly, right now. So it's and I'll be honest, my my ex threw up red flags too.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know that she threw up some red flags, and you know, I think, you know, while we're talking about like your ex, we can talk about mine a little bit. Like, you know, it's hard to get over with someone. It was hard to get, I should say, past tense. It was hard to get over somebody. I don't want people to think that. I don't want my girlfriend to think that. Jesus Christ. Like, it's hard to get over somebody when they sit there and they constantly call you and text you on like a normal basis. And you're like, okay, what is this? Like, do you want to get back together? Like, and I, you know, for me, I didn't press it because I was just trying to get back with her at that point. But, you know, it's hard to get over somebody when people do that. You know what I mean? And that's why when I say, like, there's a mental issue there, it's like, okay, maybe you felt bad and maybe that's what you're doing, but if you really felt that bad, why wouldn't you just be like, all right, look, I fucked up, Paul. I don't know what you want to do, but, you know, why don't you come get your stuff and get the hell out? Because I don't know if anybody knows, but I never got all my stuff back. I have like there was a bunch of anime down there. There was a chair. There like a big black chair that I had in my family for a long time that I had. What else did I have? I had an old computer there. I had my bed. The couch that I bought. What else? I mean, there wasn't really too much else because the rest of it she gave back to me. Oh, my surround sound system that I had. Like, man, like, I get that, you know, if you don't want to be with me, that's fine, but give that shit back. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't rocket science. Just, you know, give the shit back. Just, okay, I'm done with you. Here's your stuff. All right, I'll come get my stuff. We're done. We're good. You know what I mean? Never happened. You know? And it's just, I mean, we've talked, I don't want to go too far into it, but we've talked about the weird things that she's done off the podcast. And even you can sit there and say to me, there's an issue there, right? Am I wrong about that?
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, I'm agreeing with you, not saying, yeah, you're wrong.
I mean, there's an issue there. There's something not quite right up there. And that's what I'm trying to say with that girl that you were dating is like, clearly, I mean, now that you told me that, now it's out on the podcast, like, yeah, clearly there was a problem. So, I don't know what to tell you, dude.
I don't know. I wonder. I don't know. There's things I'm thinking about, and I you know, I hope this isn't what I think it is or whatever. Because there was I don't know.
What were you thinking?
I think there was a guy. Oh, okay. I think this is a guy.
Wait, are you looking at her Facebook page right now?
Yeah, okay.
You're looking at your ex's Facebook page. Okay, then.
All right. I think this is a guy whose, like, wife died. And now she's with him.
That's...
Okay.
What, did you know this guy, or...?
No, this is a guy that she was telling me about. Holy shit. Okay. All right, so let that be known that she was seeing a guy who was technically married, and his wife passed away recently, and I guess that's why she pushed me away. So she can get with a guy who's fucking, who's literally, like, whose wife literally died a couple months ago. So,
yeah, I don't get that. That doesn't make any sense.
Wow. Psycho! Wow, I get the best of them, don't I?
Yeah, I would say so.
Well, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is, but I don't get it, dude. Like, I just don't get how you can start dating somebody new during a pandemic. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, no. This is a guy that, like, I think what the situation was like he had a dying wife, and like, you know, like, I think he kind of hung out enough where, you know, he had a dying wife, and he kind of, like, you know, he was kind of hooking up because, you know, she had guy friends, and you can go back and listen to this podcast. She had tons of guy friends that, you know, she'd be on the phone with and stuff like that. And I think they might have had like a thing going, but the guy was like, you know, my wife's dying and I can't fucking hook up with you. But now that the fucking body's in the ground, all right. Totally makes sense. Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
And I swear this is not a bit for the podcast. This is me,
I don't know what to tell you, dude.
Yeah. So, it is what it is. Is it embarrassing? Yes, but I think it definitely shows more about her than it is about me. You know.
It's how some women are, man. And that's how it is.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, okay. Before, and everything I said is the truth. So,
no, everything
said,
was
you know, I don't want to dig a hole by bringing up other shit, but, you know, that explains a lot. That explains a lot how I could just get easily fucking kicked to the curb. She was with the guy with the dying wife for the past 7 years. You know, there was a guy on the hook, you know, that's been waiting in the wings for 7 years, and then I disappear, and I was pushed out of the way so she can get with this guy whose wife just died.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. Like, I kind of felt that I felt like my ex was doing that too. Mm-hmm. I kind of felt like she pushed me away because she had somebody else. Mm-hmm. And as you can see I'm sure if you looked at her social media, she doesn't have anybody right now. So you can see how well that worked out. Yeah. So, you know, it is what it is, dude. You know, these women don't understand. You know, at least I have one that is good. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, this is, you know, this is how we learn.
I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? You know, sometimes things happen for a reason, and they happen so that way you're not into a bad situation. You know, like I've been telling you, man, like I've been having some really good karma lately, and I feel like, you know, it started there. That's where it was like, somebody was like, all right, I see what's going on here. We need to get you out of this situation, Paul. Sorry, but this is what's going to happen. You know? Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that's probably what happened in your situation, man. You know? Now, if you do something stupid, like, you know, if you know me well enough what I'm going to tell you, and I won't say it on the podcast, if you do something stupid like that, I'll kill you. But, you know what I mean? Like, as long as you understand, man, that you didn't do anything wrong in this situation, then you're good.
Yeah, dude, like, I like, it's sort of like a relief off of my shoulders. Because you kind of always go like, you know, what did I do wrong? You know, because you question yourself. You're like, it's a rejection, you know, and it's not that, it's, you know, the guy's wife finally died and now he's, you know, they can go on and proceed with whatever they had going on. Wow. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That's real fucking so.
Well, I mean, shit. I think that gives you some good closure though. You know what I mean? Like, that gives you some good closure, and I think you needed that, honestly.
Yeah, and I can't compete with 7 years of like, you know, I can't wait for my wife to die so I can finally date you. I can't compete with that. You know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, that's kind of fucked up that he waited 7 years to date another girl that.
Well, you can't, if your wife is dying, you can't fucking you can't cheat on your dying wife.
But then,
and now that
was his wife dying all 7 years?
Well, because I looked at the post and one post said after 7 years, and like I said, I knew she had guy friends that, like, there was people she was always on the phone with and stuff like that, and she would tell me about this guy that, you know, that his wife was dying and stuff like that, and he was real stressed out, and, you know, so.
That's probably him.
Yeah, and then I Facebook stalked him right now, and I looked him up, and that's the guy from Texas. So,
she's all the way in Texas.
No. I guess he must have come up from Texas.
Oh.
Like they must have had a thing going on. Like, not, you know, even if it's just talking shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're talking shit with someone online, you get an attraction, but the guy's like, you know, I can't cheat on my wife, she's dying. But now that the body's cold and in the ground, hey, boom, let's take a fucking plane to Rochester and fucking get this shit taken care of. You know?
Yeah, but that's gonna look, but that, I mean, that,
hey, look,
dude, like, I I remember, this just reminds me of that situation with that cop that died in Rochester. I can't think of the name off the top of my head right at the moment. It was several years ago. His wife, like, just after he died, like, just started dating, like, random, like, police officers. And, like, it wasn't even a year. I think it was, like, 6 months, 7 months after he had died, she was pregnant with some other guy's kid.
Yeah, well, that's notorious in like, firefighters. A lot of firefighters, like, when a firefighter dies, like, the widow... Well, one, I mean, the guys, the firefighters' friends, they're all fucking dogs and animals and will jump on the fucking widow in a heartbeat. But that happens a lot in along with firefighters. You know what I'm saying?
So police officers too?
I think police officers too. I think there's sort of a thing where you're married to the job for a little bit also, like, you know, when you're a wife of a police officer or a firefighter, you know that that any given day, you know, your husband could not come home. And so, and then,
I don't know, man. I just feel like
that alpha maleness.
Somebody. I feel like if your, like, significant other dies and you start dating somebody within not even a year after they died, like, you're kind of like, that just kind of goes to show how much you actually care. Now, it's a different situation if your spouse is like, look, I want you to move on. I want you to find somebody different. Be happy. Okay? And that's what I want you to do. That's completely different. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, dude, like, if I were, like, the wife's, like, family and I saw some dude, like, if I saw him, like, go up and now she's posting pictures with a new girl, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, I mean, if it was like, let's say your brother was a cop and then your brother had a wife and then your brother passed away in the line of duty or whatever, and then you saw your ex-sister-in-law now dating another cop, like, probably from the guy's precinct or whatever. Yeah, it's fucking, it's grimy as fuck. But, you know, they're sort of, like, you know...
Don't try to explain it. It's just grimy as fuck, okay?
Yeah,
let's just leave it at that. It's grimy, wow. Dude. I don't get it, man. And I think does that guy have any kids? I think he's got some kids, too. So it's just like, what are you trying to do?
I mean, you know... Look, at least he waited. Wait. He never cheated on his wife. I mean, well, I guess he did.
You don't know that.
That's emotional. I mean, that's an interesting take. Did he cheat on his wife? If you have, like, a whole relationship with someone where maybe you don't physically do anything, but, you know, you're like, as soon as you know, as soon as she's dead, you know, you and I could hook up together.
I would be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you. I honestly think that she probably slept with him at one point. Not probably when she was with you, but I would say, like, if I were a betting man, I would say that she probably slept with somebody else.
Like, if this guy's wife was still alive, if that guy's wife was still alive, me and my ex would still be together.
Yep. Exactly.
Wow. You know.
But see, here's the thing, like...
And at least, look, she didn't cheat on me. You know, I mean, to the best of my knowledge, she didn't cheat on me, but, yeah. You know, she pushed me away so she can get with this dude. You know what I'm saying? I mean, hey, thank goodness nothing, you know, this didn't drag on for years and years and years, and then, like, she goes, oh, I'm gonna go on a trip. I'm gonna go to visit my friend in Texas, and I'm like, what the fuck, you know, and...
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know...
I mean, that's what it would have happened, man. And here's the thing, like... I don't know if he went to see her or she went to go see him, but, like, again, why the fuck are you going... First of all, why are you dating somebody in a pandemic? And then, number two, why are you flying in the middle of a goddamn pandemic? Are you fucking stupid? Like, I just don't get people, man. It's just like, I mean, I guess this...
I could think of something really nasty and wrong to say, but I'm probably not. It's not...
We can say it off the podcast. You don't need to go there.
Oh man, I can think of something really fucking nasty and wrong to say, but I'm not gonna say it. But it's sort of, just understand that I have some really good ammunition that I find. And once again, it's like, I'm obviously I was hurt because of the rejection, but now that I see why she broke up with me, like, I don't feel so bad anymore. So I don't want to hurt her. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to hurt her feelings, like, oh, you hurt me, so I'm going to hurt you back, you know? But, I could think
I started off this podcast hurting her, so whatever, it's fine.
I can think of some really fucking nasty things that I know now that I put two and two together, and you know, and that guy, And look, I don't have a problem with the guy, you know what I'm saying? But then again, it is kind of fucked up. Like, if her and I were in a relationship, and I know she used to get on the phone with him and stuff like that, and so, you know,
Dude,
it is kind of fucked up. You know, like, if you're dating someone and she's talking to a guy on the phone that you know that they want to be together, but they can't. So I guess, is that cheating? Did she cheat on me?
Well, no. So let me tell you a little story. So this is a different ex than the one that I had recently. Mm-hmm. I only dated her for like 2 or 3 months, but so this girl. So I started dating this girl, mm-hmm. and this was basically what happened is she was talking about how, like, she was talking to this dude before. I guess he was in the army or anything, and blah, blah, blah about coming back. So, like, all of a sudden, she, like, after, like, 2 months, she's just like, I'm done. And I'm like, why are you done? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm invested. We're invested in each other. Like, what the fuck? Mm-hmm. Come to find out, this dude came back, and, like, not even a week later, she was with this dude. Mm. Like, talk about sleazy, dude. Talk about fucking sleazy. I don't know if I've ever told this story on the podcast, but like, really fucking sleazy, dude. And I think she cheated on me too with him, and then broke up with me, and then started dating the dude. Dude, she's not dating that guy anymore. So, like, it's like, it's sitting there like, and she hasn't been dating this dude for a long time, actually. That's why I know it. I don't pay attention to her Facebook. I don't even stalk her anymore. I don't even know why I dated her in the first place, because sometimes I was just like, what the fuck am I dating? When
you think with your dick, you forgive a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you just want to get your fucking dick wet, you know, you ignore a lot of red flags.
I mean, I don't think it was that so much, dude. I think it was more or less like, you know, we kind of had a connection, so I was like, okay, you know, mm-hmm. Let's see what, you know, I'm just like, okay, like, at least I got some karma out of it. Like, you know, I love when people get their just desserts for hurting somebody or treating somebody like crap. You know what I mean? And it's just, it just makes me laugh when, you know, they're like, oh, I think I can do better with insert guy, and then they don't even get to date him for more than a year. I mean, I think my recent ex, she hasn't even dated. The longest I think she dated somebody was like 4 months, from what I've been told. And I'm like, that just tells you right there, like, you're not going to find any better than me. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe I'm just being a little too real, but I don't know. I you know, it just that situation, it pisses me off when people. Okay, not people. Women do this. You know, yes, men are pigs. Okay, I will fully fucking sit here and say men are pigs, and a lot of them think with their dicks. But there are guys like me who don't. Mm-hmm. And when a guy like you decides to actually do everything the right way and not fucking, you know, do something that's wrong, and then all of a sudden now, you know, oh, I'm gonna make it an excuse so I can date another guy. That just makes me angry.
Yeah, I mean, because women could fucking, you know, because she said she loved me, she was ready to fucking move in with me. You know, thank goodness her and I didn't move in together. Because imagine because you know, we were looking, you know, like I was go looking on Craigslist. I was curious. I mean, and actually now I may have to fucking move in now just anyway because my fucking piece of shit landlord. But you know, I was looking at apartments, and I was saying it was like, you know, where I live is the fucking, you know, it's the ghetto and shit like that. But you know, we can probably move to a more decent place if we combine our incomes. Yeah. You know, we can live in a nicer place. So you know, thank goodness I didn't get caught up in a fucking lease.
You never introduced her to Raven, right?
She met Raven once, and that was only because a buddy of mine from New York City came up to Rochester, and this guy was like my best friend growing up, so I wanted him to see Raven because, you know, that's my buddy, and then I also wanted him to meet her because at that particular time, you know, she was very important to me, and so it was more like, you know, they were both meeting my friend, But, yes, she met Raven, but, up until and if it wasn't for my friend coming up here for that to be a thing, I was kind of holding off on having her meet Raven.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
yeah.
At least it wasn't more than once, hey.
Yeah.
Cause that's the thing that's the one thing, I don't like when kids get involved.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm just, for me, I don't understand it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, if you're not sure about dating somebody, don't invest your feelings. You know what I mean? That's just what pisses me off, and if you don't want to be with somebody, just break it off. Just break it off and leave it alone. Because then you fuck with somebody's, mentality, and now they're thinking something. Now they're sitting there questioning their self. You know what I mean? It took me a long time to realize, man, that I did nothing wrong in my last relationship, honestly. Mm-hmm. And that's just me being very, very clear about it, and to the point. I realized I didn't really do anything wrong in that relationship. As a matter of fact, yeah, I'm a man, and yeah, there were some things that I could have probably done better. I mean, no guy's perfect, no woman's perfect, but did I do anything extremely wrong? No. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If you take care of your woman and you do everything, you work 2 jobs and you do what you're supposed to do, guess what? You're not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
I wasn't beating her. I wasn't verbally abusing her. I was, so, it's just, for me, it took me, psychologically, it took me a while. And, it was just, it was like a mental mind fucking sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just kind of destroys you. Because because you just sit there and you constantly think, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong?
And see, the whole thing is now, had you not told me this in this situation, I would have kept fucking hating on myself. You know what I'm saying? And so, so the funny thing is sometimes people, I guess let this be a lesson that, someone will break up with you and you'll be wondering what the fuck did you do wrong? And sometimes, it's not you, it is them. It's sort of, I feel redeemed. I feel like.
Well, that's part of the reason I brought it up, because I felt you would be, you're gonna get some kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Relief from this now. You know what I mean? I didn't have that.
Yeah.
I didn't have that. And, and that's part of my my whole trying to be good karma. I'm gonna be honest with you. This quarantine and being inside more and not going out and doing stuff more. Yeah, that's kind of, that's affected me. Mm-hmm. And, once this kind of calms down, I won't be so affected. But, even now that it's warm out, I'm actually walking around the neighborhood because I can't go to a fucking gym. Don't worry, I'm not one of those Kens. I'm not I gotta go to the fucking gym. I gotta get my hair cut. No. I can go without that, but at a certain point, it's
I totally understand people going out and getting exercise and stuff like that. I just I don't really leave the house that often where, I go to take my daughter to her mom's house and I see people walking in a group. And it's obviously, like I said, I think you can look at 2 people and see if they're in a relationship or not. And it's they're clearly friends. And I'm and I understand it helps to be with your friends to exercise, but this is not the time to fucking, go hang out with your friends right now. Even if
I guess this is a good time to kind of transition into that. You see my Facebook, dude. I am ragging on so many fucking people for not wearing a mask. Mm-hmm. I don't get it. I don't understand how you don't understand to wear a fucking mask every time you go out.
Yeah, and you had posted a video about a guy at a Costco. And the funny thing is this couldn't be more perfectly indicative of everything that's wrong with the problem. Okay, first
I hope that guy didn't get fired, but I don't think he did.
I don't think the manager got fired. He probably got a slap on the wrist, just sort of the camera's in your face or whatever. But it also, it's not making, he didn't make Costco look bad. The manager kept his cool. He wasn't mean. He wasn't nasty. He was saying, do you have to respect the store's policy? Now let's take the story apart for a second. One, it's a fucking Costco. Americans love their fucking Costco, and and ironically enough, when the manager pulled the fucking cart away, he's, the guy was buying like toilet paper and stuff like that. So the manager goes, "I'm telling you to leave," and he goes, "Well, I don't believe," the guy's like, I wish I could probably watch the video now, but I'll just paraphrase saying, "I'm not going to wear my mask, and it's my right to not wear a mask because when I woke up in a free country." Okay, fine. Let's understand, motherfucker. You're in a business establishment.
Yeah.
They have rights too. And they reserve the right to refuse service to anyone who does not follow store policy.
Right.
And so in the middle of a fucking pandemic, and the whole thing is like, we're seeing the end of the video. I'm pretty sure someone spoke to him and said, "Could you put on a mask? Could you put on a mask?" I'm pretty sure, we saw the tail end.
It's like what I saw in Walmart today when we went into Walmart.
Uh-huh.
People fake, either put their mask on and take it off when they go into the store, or they put their shirt up, like I saw a couple people do, and I wanted to fucking slap them so much. They put their thing up to make them look like they had masks on, and then they don't. And I'm like, and even my girlfriend was like, she was more disgusted with the selection in Walmart because, dude, you go into Wegmans has everything now. I know you don't like Wegmans, but it has everything. You go into Walmart, and I don't know if it's like this at the Hudson Walmart in Irondequoit, because that's the one you usually go to, right?
Well, not anymore, because that's the one I used to go to. And not for nothing, in the middle of the pandemic, that's like if there's a ground zero for fucking pandemic activity, it would be the Hudson Walmart, which where I used to live, yes, I used to go to that Walmart all the time, but where I live now, no, thank you.
So, dude, there's nothing in that. It's like the pandemic is still going on, and people are just rushing that store, and it's like, why? Why are you rushing that store? Mm-hmm. You can go to Wegmans now and get everything you need. You can probably go to Tops and get everything you need, but you're gonna go to Walmart and get all your food. That's what she was disgusted by. It was there's no food in there, really. There's no there was no. I mean, because everybody's switching over to Walmart, they don't have or not Walmart, online. Walmart doesn't have a huge selection of clothes, so it's just you know what I mean? Why would I buy stuff here?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, she's disgusted with that, but I'm disgusted with the people that are going into Walmart that don't have the mask on. You go into Wegmans, everybody has a mask on. I was in Lowe's, everybody had a mask on. You go into Target, everybody's got a mask on. Fucking Walmart, you at least see 2 or 3 people that don't have a mask on. And by the way, don't you think for a second that I'm talking about a black person. I'm talking about fucking dumbass white people. Mm. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Put your goddamn fucking mask on. Get a mask, put a mask on. Stop thinking that this is this isn't something that you should take seriously. You know what I mean? I'm more worried about my kid getting sick and getting whatever that thing is that you get after getting over COVID than anything else. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be psycho about it. I don't get how people can't respect people that have been out there right now, that are in the hospitals, that are in the grocery stores, that have been doing this for a long time, and you go into a store and go, well, fuck it, I'm not going to wear a mask. Go to fucking hell. You can go fuck yourself.
Yeah, because and the whole thing is the guy's in that video that you posted is the guy's I thought when I woke up in a free country, and it's motherfucker, just because it's a free country doesn't mean that the store has to kiss your fucking ass.
But here's the thing, and I don't think he had a mask around his neck, but I'm gonna bet you that he had. That's what I was trying to say. I bet you he had a mask, and he had a mask on when he came in, because the girl that he was with had a mask.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking he had a mask and then he took it off because he didn't want to wear it in the store, because he didn't want to wear it at all. He just had it so that way he can get in the store. And then they were like, dude, you can't be in here without a mask on. And people probably complained about it because, let's face it, you go into Costco, Costco has the policy, no mask, no service. Yeah. Period. I mean, you're going to have to understand, these malls, when the malls reopen, they're pretty much telling all the stores everybody has to have a mask on, and if they don't, get out. Yeah. So that's what's going on. Like, I'm sorry, but if you can't respect that policy, I mean, I don't have anything definitive yet, but that might be the policy at my theater, because New York State is requiring all employers provide PPE to all their employees. Mm-hmm. It's a mandate, so if they're mandating employees to do it, they're going to mandate customers to do it. So guess what? Now we need to make sure that the customers are coming in with it on, and if they don't, they're probably going to have to leave. Well, and that's
well, at least, like, not for nothing, there's at your job, there's literally a gatekeeper. There's literally someone there whose job is to let people in. So, like, that person, I mean, of course, once the people are out of eyesight of, like, the ticket taker or the person selling the tickets, that's another story. But, other stores, it's hard enough running a store where you're running the register and taking care of customers. Now you gotta have someone at the fucking door. Like your job is almost easy. You guys have it easier than other retail places because, a person walks into a theater, there's someone there like, that rips the ticket and lets you in. If your customer doesn't have a mask, I'm not gonna let you in. I'm not gonna sell you a ticket.
I mean, if I'm gonna be honest with you, like, I don't know what the policy is going to be. Mm-hmm. I mean, they may tell me, well, you have to let people in even if they don't have a mask on. That won't last very long because people will complain and they'll drop comment cards, and then, whatever company, whatever company like Regal, Cinemark, AMC, all these companies are going to have to, drop this whole, make sure that everybody has masks on and everything. So, it just makes sense to, just put the policy in place in the first place. If they don't come in, I mean, especially at a movie theater where you could pass it very easily, like, that's just common sense. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen with my movie theater in particular, but we'll see, we'll see what happens. But, one other thing I wanted to talk about quickly, because I'm sure you have nerdy stuff on the second half, but looks like Denny's is shutting down everything nationwide. Because I thought that they just were shutting down Denny's around here, but like it's like, let's see, so there's Central New York, all the Denny's, there were 7 in Central New York that have closed. The 5 remaining ones in Rochester have closed. And I'm just sitting here going, like, what is going on here? Like, I don't get it. Like,
I think a lot of places just in general were already like on the bubble before the fucking, before the pandemic. Like, there were a lot of places that were, like human beings, like living paycheck, their version of living paycheck to paycheck. And then this comes and hits them in the, and it's not, I mean, I guess technically, Denny's could still survive with like, if, with the, DoorDash and Uber Eats and Grubhub and all those places delivering, but, maybe they just, they gave it a shot and, and after a couple of months, it's not as sustainable, cause it's not, cause
a lot of the Denny's out here, man, would do so much business. So it's very like, it just doesn't make sense to me that all of a sudden, like, all the Denny's would shut down. You know what I mean?
But nobody thinks of Denny's as takeout food. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, they were offering, like, I saw commercials for them offering, like, doing the whole to-go thing, but none of them around here, I think, was doing it. And I'm like, I don't understand that. That was
on the whole, when you think of like to go or to, someone delivering, you think of all the fast food places. You think of McDonald's.
Right. Well, actually, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They were doing to go stuff before. I'm sorry.
No, well, I'm saying they've been doing. You could walk into a Denny's and say, I'd like to take that order to go. You can do that. But I'm saying people, when you think Denny's, you think sit down experience. Denny's is, the joke is Denny's is always the place you go after, the bar closes. And and everyone's fucking shit faced, and then all the drunk people end up going to Denny's. Or when you in Rochester, when all the bars close at 2, Denny's at 3 o'clock in the morning is a bunch of filled with a bunch of drunken lowlives. But but I'm saying Denny's doesn't have a reputation for being a place where you can order out or get your food to go. You could easily get your food to go, and any Denny's is just I think they didn't have that presence. And obviously, the pandemic took everybody by surprise, and, they're really suffering, they're really suffering because of it, and the economy was already doing shitty, the fucking world's going to hell.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. So it's time for commercial break.
All right, and with that, we'll be back with more dick and fart jokes.
This episode of Two Strangers, One Podcast is brought to you by Comics Etc., 1115 East Main and North Goodman at the Hungerford Building, door number 8. Find out more information at comicsetc.biz or like them on Facebook at facebook.com/comicsetc1.
Did you ever see a film at such a young age it left you traumatized with cinematic wounds? Necrophilia. It's a dead issue, man. Don't push it. Cinema Psyops is a weekly podcast documenting an ongoing experiment on the mind of an unwilling test subject.
No one should have to watch this movie.
Oh, no one should have to watch this?
No one should have to watch this movie.
Surprisingly, it's not a topic that a lot of people really want to tackle.
I'm shocked, prudes.
I know, really.
Right?
It's the next sexual frontier that no one wants to explore.
I am, in the most sincerest of senses, disappointed in you.
It takes a powerful goddess like Connie, jam her arm down the monster's throat and kill it. Oh, I'm still tripping out over that. Even as a kid, I was like, I gotta find a girl like that. Every week, I get a new look of disappointment that I never thought I could get out of her.
Unimaginable. At 12 years old, you should not be watching this movie.
Obviously.
At 13, you should not be. 14, you shouldn't be. I'm not entirely sure even 17-year-olds should be watching this.
Just because you're offended by something doesn't mean that you have the right to demand that it doesn't exist. Watching this film again, I had all of this little nerd glee with everything that kept
little
popping
history
up.
all popping up
absolutely.
at you.
So I totally loved this film.
Hey, I know why you couldn't see that. It's because your brain's warped from watching this shit at 12 years old.
Yeah, this is a rough movie. I told you ahead of time when we were getting ready to do it that it was going to be a rough
How could you watch
one.
this shit at 12?
Because physical wounds heal, cinematic ones don't. Listen to Cinema Psyops.
Victory Championship Wrestling presents Lethal Leap Year, on sale now for $9.99. Don't miss a single body slam or epic moment. Witness the showdown between Big Smooth and Johnny Slaughter for the BCW Championship. Go to bcwaction.com for the exclusive event. Only found on bcwaction.com. And as an added bonus, the first 100 people to order this event will receive a free front row seat to the next event.
And we're back. All right, Paul. So the beginning of the episode took up. I spent all this time putting notes together for the show, and there's the whole show was. I don't want to say derailed, but it definitely you had other things to talk about. So let me see. I just want to quick fire my regular stuff that I had. I wanted to talk about.
I threw you off your game. There you go.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, they opened a mall in Arizona, and there was already a shooting, a mass shooting at a mall in Arizona. I don't think
so, because I didn't see anything on the news.
Or I don't know. I could have sworn they said it. I want to say, and maybe I don't want to say the name in case. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Westgate Plaza shooting. Okay, yeah. Because Westgate Plaza, there's a Westgate Plaza in Rochester, but I'm not talking about that. This is Westgate Plaza, Arizona. 3 injured after shooter opened fire on large Arizona shopping center, police say. And that's from the Washington Post. Then the Wall Street Journal, the headline, at least 3 people shot at Arizona shopping center. And I believe this is literally a day or two after they opened up the mall for all the fucking, all the dummies protesting outside to reopen. The place finally does reopen, and what happens? Some genius shows up with a gun and starts bucking shots. Yeah, Westgate Plaza. I don't want to say it until I double checked it, but yeah, Westgate Plaza in Arizona. So it's fucking people. This is not going to be a good year.
No, probably not. Probably not.
Just put on a fucking mask. There are bars in New York City that are serving drinks and allowing people can take their drinks and drink out on the sidewalk, which in New York City is very frowned upon. open container laws were very strict, but, the cops have been very relaxed on it with, people drinking outside and stuff like that. And then I guess like in California, there were like Uber drivers and stuff like that were like, or, delivery places that were delivering alcohol, and the person, the person delivering the alcohol, like, never carded the people they were delivering the alcohol to. So there are places like in California that are getting in trouble because they were delivering alcohol to minors. So once again, just fucking use an ounce of fucking, I mean, once again, I guess if you work for Uber, it's not like, you don't have a boss and you could do whatever the fuck you want, but, some people, the assholes are going to ruin it for the rest of us. I haven't yet, only because, like, I live like a 2-minute drive from a liquor store. So when I get my whiskey, I go and I get, but I'd love the idea of having alcohol delivered to the house. And, why don't people have to fuck it up? But then it's kids who want to drink. But, when I was a kid, not a kid, but I'm saying when I was like 14, 15, 16, we blatantly walked into the fucking corner store and the guy never carded us or anything. We bought 40s and shit like that and the guy never gave us a fucking issue. So,
yeah,
I mean, I'm a hypocrite. I'm just saying I'm no fucking angel. But, God, these kids are going to ruin it for everybody else.
Well, it's like the whole, like, I mean, I don't want to go too, well, fuck it, we'll go into it. Like, here in Rochester, there were a couple there was a minor accident where a bunch of girls just jumped these other ladies that were in the accident with them, and all of them got arrested. And then there was another, like, 100-person, like, funeral or whatever you want to call it. Not funeral, but like celebrating somebody's life, and the police had to use pepper spray and that to break it up. Like, use fucking common sense. Like, this is like, if you want us to go into phase 2 of New York State's opening, how about you stop being fucking idiots and do what needs to be done? Like, do what they tell you to do. Wear a fucking mask. Don't have large gatherings, and just wait.
Look,
you know what I mean?
If I fucking die tomorrow, and and I can say this, if I die tomorrow, I don't give a no one needs to come to my fucking funeral.
By the way, I need the passwords to everything too.
I don't want anybody. Let my own mother stay at home. I don't want anybody risking their life and their health to come to my fucking funeral. And I hope that all my friends and family could understand that if someone close to me died also, I would be very reluctant to go to their funeral. It's just not going to happen. Not right now. I'm not going to go out and put myself in harm's way. And I tell my friends and family, I love you. I love myself more, and I'm sorry. And like, if someone passed away in my family now, and it might ruffle some feathers with some family members, but you know what? If it's that much of a problem to you, then tough shit.
It's the whole thing I was talking about. It's about the respect. If you respect the people that have been out here all along doing what they've been doing in the hospitals, at the grocery stores, and whatever, it's the same thing with respecting the people that can't have a funeral because they don't want people to get sick. Like, there are people literally waiting right now to have a funeral for their loved one, but they're not doing it so they don't get other people sick and they die. Like, you gotta, like, it just boggles my mind. This is why we have to have a fucking lockdown, Chris. This is why we have to do the things that we do. I see people whining all day long about how, Cuomo's doing this or Cuomo's doing that. I'm like, if you would watch his press conferences, you would get all the information. You would understand. Like, people were bitching about education. I'm like, did you not understand what he was saying? Do you watch the press conferences? No. Dude, stop looking at fake articles and listen to what he says. Like, he's sitting here literally saying, we need to transition to online learning for now. We need to learn how to do that. We need to do all that stuff. That's just an example. But it's like, people, they want to have their freedom, but it's like, you don't understand, like, it's not about your freedom. It's about respecting the people that have been out here doing what they're doing. It also means respecting other people too that can't get sick. Because if you get some of those people sick, they're going to take it back to somebody that's their loved one, and then they're going to get sick and they're going to die.
Yeah.
Like, it boggles my mind. It's like in New York City too. Another thing that happened was, this there was a Jewish school that was doing school, and they had to go in and shut that down. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, what are you doing? Like, no wonder the mayor gets pissed because all these Jewish people are doing it. I'd be pissed. You know, in our city, it happens to be black people doing it. In New York City, it happens to be Jewish people fucking doing it. You know what I mean? Like, there are white people doing it by going and protesting without masks on in these cities. Like, does anybody like not think like that? It's just stupidity just pisses me off. Like, it really fucking pisses me off because, you know, yeah, would I like to be going to every single store? Sure. Would I like to be have my regular life back and not have to wear a mask? Sure. But guess what? We can't now. So, do the right thing.
Yeah, it's, you know, and for some reason this, I mean, just reminds me of, another thing I posted, but is, earlier we were talking about people not wearing the masks and stuff like that. Yet these are the same people who want to carry guns. Yeah. And it's like, you want to carry a gun. Why do you want to carry a gun? Because I want to keep my people safe. I want to keep things safe for everybody. The only thing that can stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. Oh, but when it comes to wearing a fucking mask, now we have a problem. And it's sort of like if you're all about carrying a gun but not wearing a mask, it's more about you wanting to fucking flex that you're carrying a weapon as opposed to actually caring about people's safety. You want to look badass. You want to look like the fucking Punisher.
I don't get these, like, I mean, we talked about this in the last podcast, but I don't get why people are getting attacked for telling people to wear a mask. I'm going to tell you right now. If somebody comes into my place and they're not wearing the mask, I'm going to ask them politely to put a mask on. If they don't respond, and I'm sure, knowing my company, they'll probably have something along the lines of having masks for customers too. If I try to accommodate you in more ways than one, and you're not going to put a mask on, then you got to go. Yeah, you got to go, and that's.
If I was a fucking manager of a store, or maybe more of a district manager than a manager, like I swear, going to like I said this last podcast also, it's like I went to fucking Dollar Tree and I got 2 bandanas for $1. Like if I was like a district manager, I would fucking go somewhere, get a whole bunch of fucking like bandanas or whatever, bring them to every store and say, look, if you have someone that doesn't have a mask, offer them one. Here's a free fucking bandana. You know what I'm saying? Or if you could get your hands on actual masks, even better. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, say, look, we don't also want fucking you guys clearing us out of fucking masks, but if you don't have a mask, here's a mask, because that's the only way we're going to let you in the stores if you have this on.
Dude, it's the same thing that I keep saying. Like, if you would have worn a mask, if you wore a mask, there's going to be no issues. Yeah. But if you don't wear a mask, then there's going to be issues. And it just is what it is. I don't think that really happens up here in Rochester, so thankfully I don't think we'll have to deal with that too much. Mm-hmm. But I know I'm going to have some idiots that come into the movie theater and they're going to try to not wear a mask. Yeah. And I'm going to say to them, listen, here's the deal. You got to wear a mask, and if you don't, you're going to have to leave. And it's going to have to be the new norm. And by the way, that's not going to just be me. That's going to be every store probably is going to be doing that. Nobody wants to take the chance of a cluster of COVID cases come out of your business. You're going to get sued. You're going to get sued so quick it's not even funny. And I can't wait till we get a vaccine so that way we can kind of just get this over with, because I can't stand the stupidity, Chris. I just can't. I really fucking can't.
Yeah. And it's, and then our lovely fucking Cheeto in charge, what he said, coronavirus testing is overrated. Yeah, this coming from a guy who gets tested, I'm pretty sure gets tested every fucking day. Everyone around him, like, you can't even get close to the fucking president without getting tested. That's how they caught, like, the couple of people that were working in the White House that are now testing positive. These people get tested, if not every day, frequently. And the president probably gets tested, I don't know if he gets tested every day, but, more than once a week or whatever. And for him to go, oh, the testing is overrated. Yeah, motherfucker, because you got it. You're getting tested.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're taking it for granted for people that are just trying to fucking get their way. There's people out there who don't have cars and people who don't have, who have to take public transportation to their quote unquote essential job, and they're scared because, if they lose their job, they don't want to get fired and, they just want to pay their fucking bills and they want to get tested just to make sure they're okay,
thankfully we live in a city that's so spread out that, it's a lot harder for somebody to get coronavirus, and that's a good thing. That's definitely a fucking good thing, and I'm very happy that we don't have to deal with that. But it's just, for me, it's like, how do you equate not wearing a mask? Like, it's very simple. The minute that you get in your car, you take it off. The minute you get home, take it off. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this isn't hard. This isn't hard at all. Like, I just don't get it. And, I'm glad I live in a community where a lot more people get it, because if I were in your old town of New York City, city, whatever, man, I just, at this point, we don't even know when New York City's going to start reopening. Yeah. So.
And I think, as of the last time we recorded or whatever, and once again, I knock on wood and I hope things don't change, but like my mom has been tested. And
good.
Now mind you, like, my mom worked in a fucking hospital for 30 years. My mom knows people. And even my mom had to fucking pull strings. You know what I'm saying? To get a fucking test. And, and she's right in the demographic, high blood pressure, heart problems, elderly, diabetes, like every fucking, almost every check mark you could check out for the high risk group, my mom can check off. And my mom knows people. And, it was hard for her to get a test, but she did get a test. And as of right now, knock on wood, whatever, I don't want to jinx it. My mom is healthy, cause that's, that's, I don't want to say the one person I care about, but obviously that's the person I care about, that's my mom. I'm not a mama's boy, or if you want to call me a mama's boy, I don't care, but I care about my mom and I want her to be healthy. And so the last time I heard, my mom, knock on wood, is doing good. I spoke to another friend of mine, whose parents are in Brooklyn, and both his parents got it. His mom had to go to the fucking hospital, and then, they're in quarantine and stuff like that. And to the best of my knowledge, they're going to be okay. But, and it's just one of those things that, it's weird because I want to visit my mom, but I can't because I don't want to bring anything to her. You know what I'm saying? And it's a real fucking scary time. And it's like, and you would think, oh, the first thing when this is over with is I'll go hug my mom. Yeah, I want to go hug her and stuff like that. But once again, I'm not going to see my mom in person until I'm tested. You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't see your mom until we know for sure everything's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
I'm pretty fucking isolated and shit, but I want my own, like, I want to be tested and then still wait the 2 weeks after getting tested and don't really not leave the house. I don't leave the house now anyway. I only leave the house to go get my daughter. But really, really don't leave the house. And then I can feel safe in visiting my mom. And even then, when I go see my mom, I'm driving into the belly of the beast into fucking New York City, to see her. I don't know. It's scary. It's so scary. We don't have to live in fear. And it's like, yeah, these people talking about living in fear, okay, fine, but these are people who live in fucking nice rural fucking areas where you don't have to be on top of each other. And it's easy for you not to, to not be around people, and right. They're the most paranoid.
Well, so for me, like, even like with, the last girl that I dated, like, I'm concerned about her daughter. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm concerned that, if anybody is in danger of not only this new disease that comes from getting COVID after the fact, but, if anybody's immune compromised, her daughter is. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I fear for that to happen. You know what I mean? Like, it's this is a shitty time, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and even, yes, I have my issues with my ex, but that doesn't mean that I wish ill will against her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I want everybody to be safe and healthy. I want everybody to be good in this time.
And especially like, it's her kid. Like, for a long time you were in your kid's life, and it's basic fucking human decency to care about a child, especially, one that has medical issues and stuff like that. So it only adds to the, you worry enough about kids in general, and then the kid that kind of has some medical issues slapped on top of that. And it's sort of like, it's basic human decency to care that and hope that, the daughter's safe and everything is.
Yeah. And I mean, with the amount of kids that are in that apartment complex that they live in, like, I just sit there and I go, oh, like, cause you know how her daughter is, like, she sees those kids playing out there. She wants to go out there and play. And I'm just like,
it's hard enough for kids to understand,
Yeah. It would drive me so crazy. Like, I could just see that situation just turning into something that, is going to just be tragic if it's, if one of those kids actually has it. And that's, I kind of just hope that doesn't happen because, and it's, again, I don't wish any ill will on anybody. I don't like how things turned out, but that doesn't mean that I want something bad to happen to her or her kid. Like, I want to make sure that everything is good, and, that goes for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
But, let's move on to something else, because I think we kind of,
we've exhausted that.
We keep going in and out of COVID and all this other bullshit. So,
let me see. I mean, I was watching, I've been watching the Last Dance, the ESPN Last Dance, Michael Jordan thing, which is, it's so 90s. I love it. Of course, when a good documentary is being made, and it shows you that it's a good documentary because I obviously don't give a shit about sports, but I mean, I grew up in the demographic of it's me, Michael Jordan, other people have Muhammad Ali, some people have Babe Ruth. I grew up in the era of Michael Jordan. So Michael Jordan to me, Michael Jordan and Mike Tyson are probably the greatest of all time. And maybe even to a lesser extent, maybe just a little past my time, like a Tiger Woods, guys that are, considered the greatest of all time, the top of their fucking game. And, I've been watching that. It's been really fucking good. But once again, it's so weird to watch it because I watch it, but I watch, obviously I don't care about the sports, but the documentary is good, but it's such a fucking, it's so tasting the fucking 90s, and it's driving me fucking crazy. I mean, and I mean that in the best possible way. I've been loving that. Let me see. Since our last episode, I've been officially divorced for 10 years. So, yay to me on that.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's weird because in a couple of days, and it's not that I want to remember, it's because these numbers get stuck in my head. In a couple of days, it would have been, had I stayed married, oh my God, would it have been 20 years? Holy
you probably would have stabbed somebody.
I'm just saying, is that if my ex-wife wasn't a fucking cheating bitch, we got 2004. So I would have been married 16 years and a couple of days if it wasn't revealed to me that my ex-wife was a cheating piece of shit.
Dude, I've had a couple of those, don't worry.
Yeah. So there's that, right now things are tight, for work. Things are tight with work and stuff like that. I've been noticing, when I was in between jobs before, I had applied for a bunch of places and stuff like that. And I guess these places must have kept my fucking email because my fucking email address is blowing up. And it's not like I don't think someone sold my email because these are all the names of these places, but all these places are scams or maybe not scams, but it's sort of I've been noticing there's certainly been an uptick in, I don't want to say job offers because they're not really it's nothing. There's nothing I'm going to fucking jump on top of, but it's sort of, it's sort of weird how there's been I've noticed in my emails there's been an uptick of job offers and bullshit. And then as for the regular news, the last thing I have was, I got a bullshit $20 refund check from Progressive. which was my old car insurance company, because I guess with less people being on the road, there's less claims, there's less whatever. So all these insurance companies are trying to like keep their customers by like, oh, we'll give you and imagine, I can only imagine how much they're saving if they can just give me $20. You know what I'm saying? Like they're probably saving millions of dollars because there are less people on the road, less claims, less everything. And they're like, oh shit, what do we do with this surplus of money? Oh, give it back to the customers, which is surprising. You think they shove it in their own pocket. But, like, I'm such a cynical person that, like, for you to give me $21, what do you save? What are you making? But, alright, so now to the nerdy news. Okay, the big one that just came out a day or two ago, the Zack Snyder cut.
Yeah.
Hashtag release the Snyder cut. Now this is what I've been able to get a hold on so far. It's going to be on HBO Max. And literally before we started recording tonight, I was watching Kevin Smith's Fat Man Beyond podcast live stream, and they literally had a video from Ben Affleck. It's like I'm reporting it now, and it'll be all over the news tomorrow. Like Ben Affleck basically saying that he's down, he's ready, as soon as things get up and running, because what they're doing is, the people behind HBO Max are giving Zack Snyder $30 million to, and I mean, in a movie that big, $30 million really is a bit of a drop in the bucket. And I say now they're saying $30 million. I'm pretty sure it'll probably end up being more than that. So he can complete the movie because they need to undo all the shit. Not undo all the shit, but I'm saying is, they need to continue making the movie that he wanted to make, that, they ended up fusing with Joss Whedon. Now I had made a joke and said, oh, with the mustache looking all bad. And a friend of mine pointed out, and I didn't think about this, the mustache with all the mustache stuff was with the Joss Whedon footage. And technically with the Snyder cut, they're not going to use any of the Joss Whedon footage because that was slapped on later on, added, and, they tried their best to make a movie out of what they had. So it's very likely they're not going to use any of the footage where Henry Cavill had, his mustache and they had to digitally remove it. So once again, Ben Affleck has basically gone on video and said that he's down for it. You had mentioned something about Henry Cavill. Did he renew his contract or something like that?
There's a rumor. I don't know if it's true, but he may end up. It sounds like he might be signing a new contract.
Yeah.
So, and
it's the only smart thing to do. Seeing that Aquaman made so much money, Wonder Woman made so much money. There's still a viability to these characters, and especially after Henry Cavill did The Witcher. And people fell in love with him after doing The Witcher. Warner Brothers, are smart to kind of like throw money at Henry Cavill and say, please come back and do Superman. And, maybe, with Zack Snyder's Justice League and of course, there's always the promise of, there's always the possibility of Man of Steel 2. Maybe they can make those movies, let Zack chill out. Don't stop making these movies so fucking depressing. Make them a little more lighthearted like Wonder Woman and Aquaman. Wonder Woman 2, Wonder Woman 84 or whatever looks, nice and lighthearted. Aquaman was lighthearted. And then I mentioned to you that, there was even a Superman cameo in Shazam. So when they eventually get around to making Shazam Part 2, now you could have a full-blown legit, Superman cameo. Cause in Shazam, quote unquote, Superman was in it, but it was basically filmed from the chest down. So it's sort of, they didn't have Henry Cavill, but they did have the suit. So, there's still a viability to all this. Now that being said, if Ben Affleck does come back to play Batman, we're going to have the Robert Pattinson movie that they've been planning to work on, that they started working on before the pandemic hit. So we got Robert Pattinson's Batman, but then we still have Batfleck. So we're going to have two separate Batmans in the theaters, which is, it's going to be interesting. I think Ben Affleck now, knowing that this is sort of his last bite at the apple, maybe he'll get his shit together. And I actually liked Ben Affleck as Batman. I think, if you gave him the right script and stuff like that, they could have made a good movie. I kind of wished, that they did give him the movie that he wanted to make, and who knows, maybe if this puts a shot in the arm to the franchise, you know, maybe they will let Ben Affleck make his own Batman movie like he had wanted to do, but then they kind of pushed him to the side and gave it to oh my God, what's the guy's name? Mike Reeves? The guy that's doing the new Batman movie. The guy who did the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes movies. And then also while we're talking about Batman, Robert Pattinson has said that he's not going to work out so he can play Batman in the next movie.
He's not going to work out all the time, I believe is what he said.
Yeah, and I get what he's saying. Like, maybe he doesn't want to get to, like, where, like, the way Chris Hemsworth looks or Chris Evans looks. You know, and that might have been like something taken out of context and stuff like that. Cause I mean, you know, the point of Bruce Wayne is a guy who has driven himself to the point of fucking being a perfect machine. So, and the whole thing, it's not like, Robert Pattinson was ever like a fat slob anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like he was never like this chunky dude that, you know, that he got in shape for the movies. He was always pretty much in shape. So maybe he doesn't want to get sculpted like a fucking god, but but he's saying he doesn't want to work out. And then again, really, when you really look at it, like if you ever watch those Tough Man competitions, like on ESPN, like at 3:00 in the morning, you know, the strongest man in the world, all those guys look more like me than they do like Robert Pattinson. You know, all the Tough Man competitions, they all got guts, you know, they're all like, you know, got big thick arms, big thick legs and stuff like that. So, you know, the strongest man in the world competition, the Tough Man competitions, all those, you know, Magnus Vert Magnuson and all those guys, you know, they're all kind of, if you did not know that they were, you know, world's strongest men, they just look like big fat beer drinker guys. Okay. And before the episode, you said you'd wanted to talk to me about something, and I thought you were going to scold me on, yes,
getting Scoob? Fuck you, yeah.
I rented Scoob. Well, I mean, once again, there's a couple of factors here.
Let me say this real quick, okay? Was Scooby-Doo going to do anything in the theaters? Probably not. Mm-hmm. But let's just say that if the pandemic didn't happen, Scoop wouldn't have done anything. Same thing with Trolls. Same thing. There's I can't think of the movie that's going to be coming out here at the end of May. It's going online. It's some movie. It has that girl from what the hell is that movie that all the women are about? Not they're more about the books than anything else. I can't think of. Oh my God, I'm so tired at this point.
I drew on a blank. Oh shit.
It's about sex and everything. You know which one I'm talking about?
No. I thought I'm on top of all this shit.
Dude, it's well. Anyways, so that movie, it's got Ice Cube in it. I can't think of what the name of it is. Yeah. So that movie's coming out. That wasn't going to do anything in theaters either. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, let me just say this. So, any movie that's going on digital, mm-hmm. Those movies weren't going to do, like, Avengers type of business. They're not even going to do, like, Spider-Man type of business.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean that, like, Trolls doing $100 million is going to be the new norm? I don't know. We'll have to see how Scoob does. I do know that some of these movies are going to be good for, you know, like these theaters starting to open because now they can put these movies on screen. And, you know, that's what they really need to do. So, I don't know.
I mean, well, my daughter did want to see it. Because my daughter, you know, it was before her time, but, you know, we had the two live action ones, the Freddie Prinze, Sarah Michelle Gellar, those ones. And so, like, my daughter loved those two movies. Like, she liked part one more than part two, but, you know, so my daughter's seen those movies. To her, that Scooby-Doo, she didn't, you know, she doesn't really watch TV, so, like, she didn't really grow up on the cartoon, but, I mean, she likes the idea of Scooby-Doo and stuff like that, so she wanted to see it, and quite frankly, I wanted to see it, because, Blue Falcon is in it, and Captain Caveman, and, you know, and it's not really a spoiler, as it is, you know, when I say this, but, like, they were pushing this movie to kind of be, I think they want to build an expanded universe like Marvel or, you know, or DC, because even though it had like Blue Falcon and Captain Caveman, they had, I mean, it's not really a spoiler, but it's sort of like they had like Jabberjaw and Johnny Quest and Grape Ape and, you know, and so I think this was supposed to be sort of this was going to be the Iron Man. This is going to be like the one movie that maybe, triggers a Hanna-Barbera crossover universe and stuff like that. So, and it's not a bad idea. You know what I'm saying? There's this money in nostalgia but it's funny how like, you know, our generation, like I see those characters and I think more of like, you know, Harvey Birdman, attorney at law than I did from like but I loved, that's why I like Blue Falcon, you know what I'm saying? Cause I grew up watching the original cartoons and then as they got older, then the parodies of the cartoons that were based on the real material. So, I think they're pushing more for like a shared cinematic universe, which I'm all cool with. And it was cute. You know what I'm saying? Like it was Scoob and I mean, now of course, you know, with your other podcast, the Tommy Faithful podcast, you know, I've got a chance to meet a lot of really good voice actors. And the one thing that does burn me is that, you know, we don't need, Will Arnett playing fucking Shaggy. We don't need Ken Jeong playing Dino Mutt, stuff like that. You know, they bring in these celebrity voices to play characters that are pretty much well established. It's not like no one's going to see, Mark Wahlberg play the voice of Blue Falcon. You know what I'm saying? No, people are going to go see Blue Falcon for Blue Falcon. So, a part of me is a little like, for meeting so many voice actors, when they put the celebrities in as like a stunt casting or whatever, it's a little annoying. It is. But, and of course the movies, you could pick it apart. It's very easy to pick apart, but I mean, just in pure nostalgia and fun. I mean, the action gets a little intense. Like, it's not for small kids. Like, a 3 or 4 year old may not like the third act because it gets a little intense. But, I mean, for like my daughter at 9, like my daughter fucking loved it. And me, I'm a big kid and I dug it. I don't say I loved it, but I enjoyed it. So, and not to kick you and your industry while it's down, but, I wanted to see the fucking movies. So I got it. Just real quick shoot stuff. The What We Do in Shadows has been really good this season. Not this last episode, the one before the last episode, they actually had, Mark Hamill come in and play a vampire. This past week they had Nick Kroll, but Nick Kroll was a returning character from season 1. But like, the show, and it's so funny because it's obviously it's a sitcom, it's a comedy about vampires, but some of the scenes have really good special effects and even good practical makeup. Like, this episode now with Nick Kroll, he has like this vampire and her face is all jacked up and she has big buggy eyes and funky teeth, but it doesn't look goofy. It's actually fucking scary, even though it's a comedy, so, What We Do in Shadows is really impressing me. And if you haven't checked it out, check it out. It's pretty good. And it's on Hulu. So like even if you don't have cable, you can watch it on Hulu. Rick and Morty, of course, Rick and Morty has been fucking tearing it up. Solar Opposites. Have you watched any of the Solar Opposites, Paul?
I've been meaning to, and I haven't gotten a chance to. But yes, that's on my list. I kind of want to see what this is all about.
It takes a few episodes. Like I watched the first couple episodes, and I was like, oh, this is the American Dad to Family Guy, where like it felt like, oh, this is like a bad ripoff. Well, not bad ripoff because it's made by the same people. Well, it's not the same people, excuse me. It's Justin Roiland, but no Dan Harmon, and it's Justin Roiland and another dude. And that being said, the first couple episodes, I kind of sat there like jaded, like, oh, this is not even as good, nowhere near as good as, Rick and Morty. Then as the season goes on, there's a couple more episodes. The second to last episode in particular, the series really picks up. I'm kind of glad I didn't watch I didn't binge it. I watched, like I do, when I'm organizing stuff and I'm trying to do what I do, I'll watch an episode a day. And so, I was, I'm glad I let it stretch out because, I got a chance to enjoy the show spread out. I'm surprised that, with Hulu, they went with the typical, you can watch it all at once, dropping all at once, because I think that show would probably benefited a little bit better if had it been released once a week, like a Rick and Morty. But,
yeah.
Like I said, it took a second to grow on me. And of course, there's people are going to probably draw that, like there are people probably going to say, oh, it's like Rick and Morty, but not as good. But the same thing like American Dad. Like American Dad, had big shoes to fill when it came out after Family Guy. But then American Dad found its own footing, And even the Cleveland show, even though the Cleveland show was canceled, the Cleveland show got its own footing. So I think Solar Opposites, it's one of those deals where it kind of came out the gate a little awkward. It got better towards the end of the first season, and I think maybe by next season they're gonna be people, as fanatical as people are about Rick and Morty, they'll be fanatical about Solar Opposites. It's a good show, and obviously, obviously you draw comparisons, but I'm kind of glad that it's doing its own thing.
Do you think that the reason why it's not on maybe Adult Swim is because it's not anywhere near as good as Rick and Morty, maybe?
Well, no, also, I mean, they just curse. It is fucking nonstop cursing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. If it ever translates over, they're gonna have to fucking. It's all. I mean, there's a scene where two characters are having sex, and even though you don't they get away with it or whatever. I mean, but it's if it was to ever let's just say if
if it wasn't on Hulu, it probably wouldn't have been made. Is what you're saying?
Well, I mean, I guess I know you don't need that. The funny thing is that, I feel the curses in the show are kind of cheap. I think they could have easily done the same exact show without the curses, and I guess you could technically edit it down without the curses. But, I mean, when and if that ever happens, that person has a lot of fucking work ahead of them because, every character curses. And the funny thing is, there's the two main characters, which is Justin Roiland and, Thomas Middleditch, the guy from, Silicon Valley. I don't know who there's a daughter and a son, and I was racking my brain. I'm like, that son's voice sounds so familiar. It's the kid from the Goldbergs, the star of the Goldbergs, the kid with the glasses. And the funny, I mean, he's a man now. He's 18, 19 years old or whatever. But even he's cursing, and it's so weird to hear that weird squeaky little voice cursing and stuff like that. Cause he's playing a young boy, and he's an alien, but he's a young boy, and he curses a lot. And so, I mean, like I said, it's not that it can't go on Adult Swim, but they just have to do a bunch of editing. Cursing wise, and I don't know if they would bleep it or maybe, they'd have fun.
Oh, there would be a lot of bleeps probably.
Yeah. I mean, they can have fun with it but then again, I mean, shows even Venture Brothers and shit like that has cursing in it where, they bleep it out and stuff like that on it, it's good, and I think it'll probably get better the next season and stuff like that once it finds its footing. And these are my last two things. I actually really liked the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt on Netflix, and they did an episode just like that Bandersnatch, the Black Mirror Bandersnatch, where it was a choose your own adventure episode, like a multi-choice episode. It was good. And the funny thing is that you make these decisions, and obviously, you want to when you're watching a comedy show, you want to make the bad decision to see what what outcome it gives you. So it kind of rewards you for kind of making the worst decisions possible, which is funny, cause you don't want to make the right decision, then the episode will be over in 5 minutes, So, I think it was pretty funny. It made me miss that show. That was a very, very cute show. And it's a stupid little show, but it's but if you haven't checked it out, it's worth a shot. And then Fred Willard, mostly known, I guess, for his acting in movies like Best in Show and Waiting for Guffman. But he also made history. He was the live action president in WALL-E. And, and then in the history of Pixar, and I mean, not that Pixar's been around forever, but I think he's the first and quite possibly the only live action actor that has ever been in a Pixar movie. And, but then the funny thing is, after WALL-E, he got arrested for jerking off in a movie theater at the age of 73. So this is a guy who obviously hasn't heard of the internet or so old that, the internet probably, he doesn't understand that you could stay at home and jerk off. But
don't give him any ideas.
To follow my catchphrase, you should be fapping. Much respect to Mr. Fred Willard for whacking it in a fucking movie theater just like, Pee Wee Herman and stuff like that. So, rest in peace, Fred Willard. I find it hilarious that, 73-year-old man, I want to still be jerking off at 73, what I'm saying? God bless him. He can still get it up and fucking and crank it out at 73. God, that's fucking fantastic. And, alright, so that's pretty much the end of all my topics. Should probably wrap it up.
That's what she said.
Please visit twostrangersonepodcast.com or .net, where you can find all things show related. You can find links to our iTunes page. If you have an iPhone, an iPad, or iPod, you can subscribe to us there. If you don't have an iPhone, iPad, or iPod, you can find us on the Stitcher app. That's STITCHER, the Stitcher app for Android devices. And, any podcast worth listening to, Kevin Smith's Smodcast or anything. What else? One of my other favorite shows is a show called The Weekly Planet, and of course Paul's other baby, the Tanami Faithful podcast, are all available on Stitcher. Or you could go right to the source. You could download if you don't want to use this, if you don't want to subscribe and use any of those apps, you could actually go right to SoundCloud, our hosting site, and you could download. I make every episode downloadable, and so if you wanted to get this specific episode, the episode where Chris found out his ex was dumped him because she wanted to date a guy whose wife just died. You can download this specific episode and,
still fucking stupid.
you can do that. You can download this specific episode if you like. Just go to SoundCloud and look up Two Strangers One Podcast and download the episodes there if you don't want to subscribe to any other kind of service. We want your money. We need your money. But until I get my shit in order and I set up a Patreon, you can show your support for the show by sharing and liking us on Facebook, facebook.com/twostrangersonepodcast. Like our page, share this episode, like this episode, whatever it does. And a couple things, something just popped in my head. Well, two things just popped in my head.
That's dangerous.
Long-term listener of the show, this guy named Chris Mounts, and, the joke, I had called him Chris Conson, long-term supporter of the show. He's a guy that he's always given us shout outs on his page. He's probably, of course we interact a lot with Oscar because Oscar likes to make fun of me and stuff like that. Chris is like the anti-Oscar, Chris Mounts. He's been very, very supportive. He went into the hospital and I don't know if it's COVID-19 related. It might be. I'm not 100%. And if I'm wrong, Chris, forgive me. And I'm not a religious person or anything like that, but if you're one of those people and you want to say thoughts and prayers or anything like that, or just, it does kind of it does shake me a little bit that, that there's one of our long-term listeners of the show, Chris Mount, he's in the hospital and, I think somebody, a member of his family has been like tagging him in posts saying that he's in the hospital and stuff like that. So, a quick recovery, brother. If you're listening to this podcast, I hope you're stick around and fight it out. He's a good guy. He's always been very supportive of me and my fucking struggles with, being like a single dad and stuff like that.
I was going to say everything, but continue.
Yeah, and he's a single dad himself, and he's had issues with his baby mama and stuff like that, which I think he's sort of like, dude, I know the struggle. I had to deal with a crazy baby mama also. So I don't know if I don't want to say thoughts and prayers. It sounds so fucking cheesy to say, but just a shout out to him and wishing for a quick recovery. And I've asked him if he wanted to come on the show, saying, and he's always been very supportive and he's sort of like, he's not too interested in being a guest on the show. But I always said, look, the door is always open if there's ever anything that you want to do on the show. And, so there's that. And there's also, here's another fan of the friend of the show, Sean Burnett. And I put this in the ads last week also. But he's promoting, cause nowadays, even wrestling itself, like even the big ones like WWE are going through financial troubles because, trying to have a business that, that in this day and age where sports aren't, people, and obviously in wrestling, you got people that are, you can't social distance and wrestle at the same time. What I'm saying? People are gonna. Oh,
sure you can. Come on, please.
I'm just saying is, and that's a business where, everybody, you need to be tested every day and you have to test the crew. And, so, for my buddy Sean Burnett, he's actually promoting, one of his independent, and independent shows have also taken a big hit. The independent wrestlers and the guys on the minor leagues or the bush leagues or whatever, the real independent guys. The guys that are playing VFW halls and the guys that are playing at local gyms and schools around, it's tough for them because, some of them were trying to eke out a living, doing stuff like that. And now there's, when millionaire athletes aren't getting paid, obviously even the low men on the totem pole aren't getting paid either. So, if you want to support independent wrestling, VCWaction.com. And I should have put the ad in the episode also, but, VCWaction.com. You can order the DVD, if you want to get it, sometimes, now that wrestling is sort of, it's a little tough to watch wrestling that's entertaining. And not that it's not entertaining, but, if you want to get a taste of something new and something different, check out, VCWaction.com and get it and order a copy of the DVD that they have there. I want to say it's like New Year's Madness. I'm sorry if I forgot the actual name of the DVD, but check them out also.
You're fired, Chris.
Let me see what else. If you want to write us, I checked the email before the podcast, and I'm pretty sure Oscar is probably going to have something to say next episode about this. But if you want to write to us, you can write to us at twostrangersonepodcast@gmail.com. That's twostrangersonepodcast@gmail.com. You can visit our YouTube page. Go on YouTube. Anything that's not on Stitcher or SoundCloud or iTunes, any episode before that, you can go back and listen to 8 years of fucking podcasts, and hear the other dramas and twists and turns in my life. You can go and listen to on YouTube and search for Two Strangers One Podcast. You could also find my audiobook, Odd I See a Tale from the Road. It's like I wrote a fucking book. I had a computer read it. All the files are out there. So you can listen to a novel's length worth of book. You can find links to my, under our Two Strangers One Podcast banner, I've put 3 of my albums that I've made under the name XL NYC. It's sort of electronic music. And of course,
it's got to be about you, Chris. Jesus Christ.
Well, the thing is, we do podcasts, and I'm an author. I'm a musician. I have a lot of things, and I have other projects that I'm working on. And that's another thing. There's some projects that I've been working on. And I don't want to jinx it by talking about it now, but, there's been stuff that I've been kind of working on the side now that I've been in quarantine, stuff that's been keeping me busy, probably keeping me from going fucking crazy. And, hopefully, it's going to be a while before anything comes of it, but, it's going to be really fucking cool. I'm working on something really, really, really fucking, let me see. So there's, like I said, you could go on YouTube, find my music, find my audiobook, find old episodes. I find some interviews that we've done at Comic-Con. Very likely they won't be near Comic-Con this year. Not in the way that we've known it. I think all these places they're trying to organize like online cons, which is cool and everything like that. But nothing beats, 60,000
being in person, getting con crud on top of never mind.
Yeah, and look, I've gone to Comic-Con for the past 5 years. And stuff like that. And even though I've been exhausted, I'm the farthest thing from the health, I'm far from a healthy person. I'm not a healthy person. And I've spent all 4 days at Comic-Con on my feet, mingling with fucking people, and I'm fine. I've always been good, so,
well, that one year that I went to New York Comic-Con, I caught con crud, as you remember. That wasn't fun.
Yeah, I don't know. I love it, and it kills me that it's probably not going to happen this year, but it is what it is. I can't. That's everything, right? I can't.
I think so.
Right, and so I acquiesce the foot of you, sir.
Oh, now that oh my God, I want to go to bed. So you can find me on Twitter at Paul Pascrillo. I don't know if Chris mentioned it, but you can find us on Twitter at Stranger Podcast.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
As well. Now that I have control of it. I can actually post things up on my Chris. I'm shaking my head at you right now, Chris. As far as me, so you can find me on Twitter, Paul Pascrillo. You can email me like Oscar has emailed me in the past, paulpascrillo@ToonamiFaithful.com. And, that's pretty much it. I actually have, it should be the 26th on Tuesday, which is actually Toonami's anniversary, 8 years anniversary, mind you. I'm releasing a soundtrack for not a soundtrack, a single called "Mortified." It's a song about Rick and Morty, inspired by Rick and Morty. It's by an artist named Grayson, and it's also it features the guy that produced it and also somebody that I call a friend. His name is Atlas. You guys want to definitely listen to that. That should be out on at least Spotify, and I want to say Apple sometime next week. It should be out on the 26th, but sometimes it lags because, these companies are wonderful. So, anyways, I think that's about it. I just kind of just want to say real quick too, I don't feel, I know I've been ragging on my ex a lot, and I get that, but, I just want to make sure that everybody understands that, I'm actually happy now. So I can't say that I'm, I guess I'm just taking out some access regression. I don't know. I just, it is what it is, and I don't wish any ill will, especially during these times. I hope everybody's healthy. I hope that everybody gets through this, and just wear a fucking mask, please. So
stay the fuck at home.
Yeah, if you don't need to be out, stay at home. Don't go to Walmart. Jesus Christ, please don't. You'll save yourself.
So one time I do leave my house to go to Walmart, but I see videos of people, hanging out in the fucking park.
Dude, it's if you go to Walmart, you have to wear a fucking hazmat suit too. So.
All right. Well, we certainly hope you guys enjoyed listening and had as much fun as we did recording. Thank you for listening to Two Strangers, One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Paul.
Don't be a stranger.
Peace out.
Bye. You should be fapping to your boyfriend's dead wife.
Oh my god.
And we're out.
All right, here we go, man. Go ahead. You want to read
Double Jackpot.
What is it?
It is a self-published book by Christopher Cologne.
Chris Cologne? Smells good to me.
But
look at her. That broke that fucking cold little exterior. He's like, hee.
But it is spelled Colon.
Him punny.
But Double Jackpot is a book about a comic book artist, Eric, who is in a loveless relationship with a materialistic
I feel you, Eric.
Lynette.
Oh, fucking. Are you sure I didn't write this? Sounds hauntingly familiar.
He starts cheating on his girlfriend with a more creatively supportive woman, Nadia.
Well, I gotta meet her. Where's the Nadia?
There's your summer girlfriend.
Summer Nadia is Nadia.
Nadia?
Yeah, I think Nadia's spelled with an A.
All right.
Both Lynette and Nadia play the double jackpot, the largest payout in lotto history, much like the recent Powerball. Both girls play his birth date as the winning numbers. Eric is now stuck between two of the country's richest women. Who will he choose? It's not that simple. This is a clever fucking idea, man.
Is.
Look at her, fucking. She's impressed.
I am.
She got some summer reading. Christopher Cologne smells real lovely with an original idea. This is. I've never heard this before.
I haven't either. This is a self-published book, much in the indie spirit as Kev's Clerks.
Oh, you don't even need to name check me. This is just a good idea. You could stand on your own, man. You don't even have to be like, hey, remember Clerks? This is nothing like that. This is way more original than Clerks. This is a good idea, man. Why didn't I think of this?
I need something to read. This book is part of the Comic Books, Heavy Metal, Video Games Trilogy Book 2. Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, coming soon.
Right on, man. It's part of a trilogy. This is the first part.
Way to write, man.
He's seeking a literary agent. Motherfuckers, anybody out there? There ain't no literary agents listening to this show, I assure you, sure. Sure. I assure you, sure. But somebody know a literary agent? Hook a motherfucker up! Chris Cologne come up with an original idea. I should tell Raskin. That's a good fucking idea, to be honest with you. That's a fucking rom-com right there. Megan, get Raskin on the phone. Isn't it possible to get Raskin on the phone? No?
Yeah.
I want to run it past him, man. And if it happens, I get a taste, Chris Cologne. I get a whiff, if you will.
The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com.
That's lulu.com.
I understand that. I just want to spell it out.
Normally one says it, that spells it. Still, lulu.com. What is that? Do you know what it is?
I don't know. All right. The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com. Search for Double Jackpot Christopher Cologne. A paperback version of the book is $15, and a PDF file is only $5.
$5
Yeah.
is insanely inexpensive. 15's not even that bad for a paperback version.
No.
This is $1 million idea right here. Like a movie about a dude who fucking is stuck between two chicks, both of who play his birthday and win the lottery. Come on! I can see that trailer. Chris Cologne is on to something. Nobody else can smell it but me.
I'll read it.
Thank you. I'm going to make that smelly joke.
I know, you're trying to get me to laugh again.
It worked once. Double Jackpot is a self-published book by Chris Cologne, man. It's the first book in his comic books, heavy metal, video games trilogy. Book 2, Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, should be coming out soon. Get all the information at Chris Cologne, like a motherfucker.
I
and
will
his
totally
book,
read this.
Double Jackpot. I'm serious. I'm going to recommend that to fucking Raskin. How is that not a movie? You know what I'm saying? This could be a sexy movie. You could do an R-rated version. There could be nudie in it, and you could show them fucking both chicks. Maybe a little penetration. Maybe a butthole shot. No butthole, no care.
I would like to formally apologize to Christopher Cologne right now.
No, sex sells. Chris Cologne will appreciate that. He's like, thanks for throwing a few buttholes in there, man.
Don't forget to check out twostrangersonepodcast.net, your one-stop resource for everything show-related. You can find links to subscribe to us on iTunes or on Stitcher. You could also find links to buy my book, Double Jackpot, on twostrangersonepodcast.net.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you, I'm out.